YouTube, what's good? Oh, my mic's just come off. Bear me 1 second. While I saw this, obviously you can see by the title that today we took an absolute banger of a trade. It was really good. Probably one of my best ever in terms of how price performs from the point of my entry. So we'll go through everything. Obviously, you can see in front of me it was 985 ticks. So really, really strong trade. And as you can see, the delivery on it from the entry was very, very smooth. We come down, hit my TP, and then reverse. So even my take profit where it was set was very good as well. So yeah, we'll go through absolutely everything in a moment. Before we do that, you will have also noticed by the title that we have passed those accounts. Now, that is obviously a big achievement. We've done it together from point one. So something I'm really pleased with, really happy with. And it just goes to show more than anything that one loss doesn't define anything. It doesn't, change anything in the bigger picture. It's just a small step back, and it's just something that's part of trading. Now, the biggest takeaway I hope anyone watching gets from this is, like I say, what one loss isn't the end of the world. We took a loss yesterday, and I thought it was going to be two trades, but sometimes all it takes is one. You're going to have days where your setups are really good. You take profits are in good positions. You're able to take a bit more profit, and stuff like this can play out. So one loss doesn't define anything for you. Just learn how to accept a loss, learn how to move on with your day, and bounce back again, the next day, or even if you're taking loss the next day, it'll be the day after that. It will eventually come. Just stick to what you know, stick to your strategy, stick to your trading plan, and everything will fall into place. Just be consistent and disciplined. That's all I can really say. And it took me a while to get behind that and grasp, but once I understood that, and use that as a foundation, it just allowed me for one, to become a better trader in general, because I wasn't chasing losses, I wasn't over trading, I wasn't taking a loss and then thinking I've got to make that money back. um it just allowed me to accept, right, okay, that's normal, that's part of trading. I didn't get it right today, or the market didn't go the way I wanted. Why is that? And then you find out a reason why, and then you just go again the next day, and eventually, over time, if you look at the bigger picture, it will play out. It will eventually click. Things will piece together, and just like hopefully this is shown to you, one loss does not define you. So, we took a win today. So I made $5,840 on the day across the three funded accounts. So yeah, really, really good. I can't show you the accounts in terms of the monthly P&L, because when you pass an account, those of you that have will know this. The ones that maybe haven't got to that stage yet maybe might not know this, but the account goes, and then you have to pay an activation fee, and then you get the account not back because it's a fresh account, so everything's wiped, but you get it fresh. So I won't be able to show you the monthly P&L. Luckily, I've kept track of it, and obviously you guys, if you really want to, you can go back through previous videos to take a look. What I can show you, and I'll leave now, is the yesterday's P&L. So that'll have the three accounts on it, which will all show the balance is above 106,000. Obviously, with the 100k accounts on Alpha Futures, you need $6,000 profit per account. You can obviously see that I'm above that threshold. My consistency rule met met that criteria as well. So we had everything checked out, and yeah, it was. We were able to pass those accounts. Now I'm recording this the following day, so I'm going to be paying for those accounts this morning. I got a bit busy last night, so yeah, I'm going to be doing that this morning, and then hopefully we'll have those accounts to be able to trade today. If not, we'll just have today as a little a little breather and go again tomorrow. But I think we should have the accounts back for today, but we will see. And yeah, let's just get into today's trade. Let's just start to go through it because I am aware that I am beginning to talk a little too much. Now, let's just look at the hourly time frame for you. So, coming into session today, where are we? Yeah, we're here. Yeah, coming into session today, I was predominantly bearish, but I was open to a reversal. As we've been in for the past few weeks, we are on, that massive, massive bullish uptrend at the moment. But the hourly, the 4 hour is bearish at the moment. So, as you can see, we're making higher highs, lower lows, higher highs, lower lows. It's that pattern. So we're respecting bearish order flow. So I have to respect that at the moment. That's what I was going off. So coming into today, we were bearish. We obviously had these hourly draws here, here, that had marked out. Below that, there wasn't really too much else. So probably could have marked out that hourly. On the 4 hour. Yeah, I had this one marked out on the 4 hour a bit below, but my main targets were these hourly lows here. So yeah, they were my targets to the downside. Now, when we come into market open, price was acting differently on both indices. So we had ES that was staying below these. I'll show you in a moment. They were staying below these highs here. Sorry, whereas ES pretty much rallied up. Now, I probably would have been bullish had NQ have. I mean, definitely. Oh, there we go. Thought I clicked the wrong thing there. Yeah. So had ES inversed his fair value gap here, I probably would have been bullish. Like I say, ES was staying below them. So you can see market open. We took out London, but ES was moving below these. Now, if ES had just moved up to here or even stayed below them, I'll be honest, I probably would have been looking for that bullish confirmation. When I go to the 5 minute, it'll make sense in a moment. Now, what we did do is I wanted this 15 minute to close before I even took anything. Now, obviously, I don't like to trade super early into the session anyway because I just like to see how price develops once that new money is injected into the market. And yeah, I was just looking to see what happened. Now we did open very strongly in terms of moving up, and we moved up to obviously this point here, and then just reverse back down. So how that looks on the 5 minute is this. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, so we have this. Let me just delete this for a second, just so the chart doesn't get messy. I'm just gonna delete that as well. Okay, so we have this 5 minute gap that opened up here. Now, should we have inverse these gaps here and maybe broke structure on ES potentially, I probably would have looked for bullish confirmation to go higher and take out London highs, take out Asia highs. Probably wouldn't have gone much higher above that because obviously the next high we've got is up here, so maybe target these or 15-minute highs, something like that. But my main targets on the day probably would have been London and definitely Asia. But we didn't inverse that gap. What we did is we respected this gap up here. So we tapped into this. We swept these highs out here. We swept this high here. And we also respected not only this gap, but this gap and this gap here. So with ES then staying below these lows, what did we make in turn with that? We made an SMT. I didn't mark that out. Obviously, I noticed that at the time. But to me, ES wanted to go lower. It wasn't showing any signs of even, trying to go any higher. And with that, NASDAQ had made that move higher, but just rejected it and continued to respect that bearish order flow. So yeah, I was just therefore bearish at this point. Now on the 5 minute, like I was just saying to you, should that 15-minute gap have been inversed, I would have taken this as a really, really strong setup for a bullish trade. So we had this move down. Obviously, we would have moved into equilibrium. So that low there to that high there, we would have moved into equilibrium. We would have also respected this 5 minute gap, and then probably on the 1 minute, I didn't even check for this, but that 1 minute confirmation up out of that would have also been strong. 1 second. Yeah, so we would have. I mean, we would have broke structure here on this candle, but we were respecting these gaps. And again, this was another sign to me that I was happy to take a bet. I'll go through it, but let me just go through this bit first. Usually, I would have liked this as a bullish setup, but I think with how ES was moving, the fact we respected those gaps, it just wasn't looking nice to me. I wasn't happy with it. We were respecting that bullish order flow. Now, typically, what I would want to see is this 5 minute gap to be inversed. But I knew if price went below that level, not only were we most likely going to sweep these lows, we were probably going to make a smooth move through that and give me very little retracement to take out these lows. This kind of just comes with market experience a little bit, because this isn't typically as strong as a setup as on paper I was to like, meaning if I wrote my rules down, this trade wouldn't fall within those rules. But with that being said, I still used multiple confluences to allow me to enter this trade. Now, obviously, on the 5 minute, you'll notice we've got this SMT marked out. We've got this high to this high here, whereas on ES, we did make a small move past this high. So we moved up, we swept that, and again, we wanted to stay below these lows before making that move down. But we had that 5 minute SMT that opened up. And I think where I went from this is I went down to the 3 minute. So on the 3 minute, we looked a little bit like this. Now, where did I obviously enter my trade? So I used the 15-minute confirmation of bearish order flow, so respecting that fair value gap. Obviously, we had the 15-minute SMT as well. Could have marked that out, but I didn't. Between NASDAQ moving above these highs here and ES staying below them. And then obviously we had this move down here. Now we were in this gap, so where I set my move to break even, in fact, I'll just put it on now. I'll get rid of that gap for you. So on that candle there, it was on the 5 minute. So once we moved below that, I mean, certainly on the 5 minute, I went straight to break even. It wasn't break even as such, it was more in profit. This is so annoying how it does this. Yeah, so once we broke structure on the 5 minute, so it was down here anyway. We were pretty much at take profit when that candle closed. I moved my stops to here, just above. I'm just going to mark it again quickly for you, and then I'll delete it. On that top of that candle there, so that high there, my stops were at that. So if price did move back up, I wouldn't have wanted to be in that trade. It would have just been one of them where we take what we can on the day. But but yeah, why can't I click that there? There we go. So as we were talking about, we had that 3 minute SMT, and then my entry was formed on this candle here. So once we did that, we didn't push above those highs. Usually, I'd like to see an inverse fair value gap, so this gap here. But I just use this break of structure. So as you can see, we've got this grey line here marked out. That was literally what I had marked out from the day. This candle closed below it. We moved back up, and I actually caught a really nice entry. In terms of, in the end, I think most I entered here, and I think it went to about $20 of drawdown. So in terms of actually how price performs from my entry, I think that's the best I've ever seen from me personally. We literally tapped into it once. We made a move down, come back up, and then just literally rallied to my take profit. As I said, as soon as that 5-minute closure went below this low here, not only did we do that, but we also did inverse this gap in the end anyway. So like I say, that was confirmation to me that price was going to go towards these lows. It wasn't going to, create a new low here and move up. It was probably going to move smoothly through this, take these out, and then potentially move up, which it has done since. Obviously, with us recording the next day, the beauty of it is we can see that it did exactly do that. Now, my actual original take profit, I'll be honest with you, was set here. So, sorry, excuse me. We had it there. Now, the reason I moved it here is because I think on the account we needed 1,720 on one, and then the other ones were like 1,800 or something. Now, this was just, I think it was literally 1,700 pretty much on the dot, which wouldn't have passed any of the accounts. It would have left $120 short. It would have left $100 short, $50 short, something like that. And I just thought, if price is going to move smoothly through that, it's unlikely that it's going to tap this and not take that out. Now, it's definitely happened before. I've definitely seen it. So it was a bit of a risk. I could have taken profits in between that, but I decided just to hold out and wait for that. I was patient, and yeah, price moved smoothly through it and just went to that take profit anyway. So we did move the take profit mid-trade down to this low here, and obviously it benefited us in the end. It allowed us to pass the accounts, and yeah, that was my trade today. So really happy with that. And yeah, we're going to hopefully go again tomorrow. I'm going to, like I say, pay for these activation fees today, this morning, and get them out of the way. I think the activation fee is $149 across each account. It is what it is. Obviously, the goal is to get them activation fees paid for, and then work towards that first payout with you guys. Obviously, I've got the one up there from the 50k account, but if we can get a payout across these 300k accounts, it's going to be a lot more than I had on that payout. Obviously, the accumulation of 3 accounts anyway, but per account is going to be a greater, payout than that. The goal with these accounts is to keep them for longer. I only got the one payout with that 50k, and then obviously, unfortunately, blew it. But yeah, the goal is to get a payout and keep getting those payouts consistently. If I was at this point I am now with the actual accounts where I can achieve a payout, what my plan would be is to take anything above 104,000. So if I'm at 106 now, I would just take it down to 104. Reason for that is just because on the 100k accounts, you get a 4,000 drawdown to work with anyway, and I'm comfortable with that amount. So anything above that, I'm just going to take as profit, and then leave that 4,000 buffer there for me to have a bit of wiggle room to be able to take it, a few losses. And eventually over time, if profits are good, I might move that buffer up to 6,000 or 5,000. I might just over time increase that if my payout amount is still a good amount per each time I request it, if that makes sense. Hopefully we get to that point I'm able to show you. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. There's a lot of work to do. We're kind of back to point one in terms of getting the accounts into profit, getting above that 104,000. That's the key thing. And then working to the stage that I'm at now. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Trading can be a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So I'm keeping level-headed about it. And we're just going to see what it brings. I've obviously got all the monthly P&L in front of me. So at the end of the month, we'll go through that and I'll be able to add it all up and explain it to you and how we did for the rest of the month. But we've still got a bit of time until then. So yeah, if you did make it to this point in the video, please do leave a like, please do subscribe, and please also leave any comments, nice ones. But yeah, we'll hopefully be back tomorrow, but it will be today's trade. This is yesterday's recap, just doing it today. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back with another trade. If I don't get the accounts, I'm obviously not going to trade. I'm okay with that. We'll still have 2 more days to trade with, being Thursday and Friday anyway. So we'll just see. We'll see how long it takes to get these accounts back. We'll get them paid for. And if we do trade, I'll be back with you. So yeah, thanks for watching as always. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.